My beloved child, stop for a moment and give this message your full attention, because there is something happening around you that you may have completely overlooked. You have spent so much time believing that you go unnoticed, that no one truly sees you, yet someone has been carrying feelings for you that are far deeper than you realize. While you have been focused on surviving, healing, and rebuilding yourself after everything you have endured, someone has quietly been admiring the person you are becoming. The affection in their eyes has been there for longer than you know. Others may have noticed it before you did. Their friends may have sensed the connection, smiled when your names were mentioned together, and wondered when you would finally recognize what has been developing right in front of you. And do not blame yourself for missing these signs. The pain you have experienced taught you to protect your heart. You became so accustomed to watching for danger that you stopped noticing gentleness. You learned to question intentions because life had given you reasons to be cautious. But this person has never wanted to force their way into your world. Their feelings have been patient, quiet, and respectful. There is a reason they have remained silent, and understanding that reason may completely change the way you look at this connection. They did not hold back because their feelings were weak. They held back because they were afraid of losing you. They saw how much you were already carrying and worried that revealing their emotions might become another burden for you. They watched you heal, rebuild, and find your strength again, and instead of demanding a place in your life, they chose to wait. Their love became something they carried privately, allowing it to grow without asking anything from you. Whenever your name comes up, something inside them changes. When you enter a room, they may try to remain composed, but their attention naturally moves toward you. And when you leave, the moment does not simply disappear from their mind. They remember your words, your expression, your presence, and the little details you probably never realized they noticed. There is something even deeper you need to understand. This person is not drawn to you because they want to control you, consume your attention, or take something from you. They are drawn to the peace they experience in your presence. After everything you have survived, you may find it difficult to believe that someone could simply appreciate you without expecting something in return. Yet that may be exactly what has been happening. They have been watching from a distance because they wanted to protect both your peace and the possibility of something meaningful between you. The people around them may already sense the attraction, the warmth, and the unusual connection, while you remained unaware because your energy was focused on getting through your own storms. But that season may be changing. The silence that once protected this connection may soon become impossible to maintain. Circumstances can bring you together more often, conversations can become more personal, and moments that once seemed accidental may suddenly feel meaningful. Meanwhile, this person has been fighting their own private battle between fear and courage. Part of them wants to finally tell you everything, while another part worries about what could happen if you do not feel the same way. But their courage is beginning to become stronger than their hesitation. They may soon take a step toward you, speak more openly, or reveal feelings you never imagined were there. When that happens, you may be completely surprised because you never expected someone to have been holding this much emotion beneath the surface. But remember, the most important question is no longer whether someone could love you. The deeper question is whether you are finally ready to recognize healthy affection when it appears. You have spent enough time surviving. You deserve the opportunity to experience being valued, understood, and genuinely cherished. So if your heart is ready to stop hiding from love, write, "I am ready for true love," in the comments as a personal declaration. Let it represent your willingness to welcome something sincere while still honoring your boundaries and your peace. And if this message speaks to you, share it with someone who may also be overlooking the love and kindness already surrounding them. Sometimes what we are searching for is not far away. Sometimes we simply need to become ready enough to recognize it when it arrives. People close to this person have been encouraging them for a long time, asking why they continue hiding what they feel. But they keep choosing silence because they understand that your heart has already survived enough. They know about the betrayal, the broken promises, and the people who once said they cared only to disappear when you needed them most. The last thing they want is to become another painful memory in your life. So instead of forcing their way into your world, they decided to wait, hoping that life would naturally create the right moment for both of you to recognize what is already there. Yet, their silence does not mean their emotions are weak. Quite the opposite. Whenever your name appears on their phone, something inside them immediately lights up. A simple message from you can change their entire mood. When you laugh, speak, or smile, they experience an emotional reaction they cannot easily explain. It feels as though something deeper keeps reminding them that their connection with you matters. And perhaps the most unexpected part is that they have already pictured what a future with you could look like. In private moments, they imagine a relationship built around safety, respect, loyalty, and emotional peace. They imagine you finally being with someone who makes you feel appreciated instead of questioning your worth. They do not picture a relationship where you are merely accepted. They imagine one where you are celebrated, protected, listened to, and valued. This person has also quietly admired the way you have survived everything that tried to break you. They have seen you struggle without announcing your pain. They have noticed the moments when you had to wipe away your own tears and continue moving forward as though nothing happened. They watched you fall, recover, and somehow find the strength to stand again. And every time you rise, their feelings become stronger because they are not simply attracted to your appearance or your presence. They are deeply moved by your resilience and by the person you became through everything you endured. Their affection is not loud, dramatic, or desperate. It is steady. It is careful. It does not demand immediate answers or try to rush you into something before you are ready. In fact, they may respect your healing more than they desire immediate closeness with you. But recently, something inside them changed. Perhaps it was a realization, a meaningful coincidence, or simply the growing awareness that remaining silent forever could cost them the opportunity to be part of your life. A frightening thought began entering their mind. What if I wait too long and lose this person completely? What if someone else enters their life? What if circumstances separate us before I ever tell them what they mean to me? That fear has become stronger than their hesitation. They are beginning to understand that protecting the connection does not necessarily mean hiding from it. Sometimes protecting something meaningful requires having the courage to acknowledge it. That is why they may soon move differently around you. Instead of relying only on subtle gestures, they could begin showing their feelings through consistent actions. People around them have probably noticed the change already. They may see the softness in their expression whenever your name comes up, or the way their entire mood shifts
when you appear.
They recognize something you have not yet allowed yourself to recognize, because your past trained you to expect disappointment instead of devotion. But this does not mean you should blindly assume someone loves you simply because a message says so. Pay attention to what is real: consistency, respect, honesty, effort, and the way a person makes you feel over time. If someone truly wants to build something with you, their actions will eventually speak louder than hints. The reason this person remained quiet may be because they never wanted to become another source of pressure in your life. They watched you carry burdens while pretending you were fine. They saw the strength you showed when you were hurting. And somewhere along the way, they made a private promise to approach you with gentleness rather than adding another storm to your life. They want it to become a place of peace, not another reason for you to feel unsafe. That is why they often swallowed the words they desperately wanted to say. They may have hidden their feelings behind playful jokes, casual conversations, or small acts of kindness because humor gave them a safe way to stay close without risking everything at once. There were likely moments when they almost told you the truth, when the confession was right there, but fear stopped them. They were not only afraid you might reject them, they were afraid that revealing everything could change the relationship forever and possibly cost them your friendship. So they waited, hoping that one day the right moment would arrive naturally. They trusted that the right moment would eventually arrive. In their quietest prayers, they hoped that someday you would look at them and understand without needing an explanation. But now, something seems to be changing. The distance between you feels different, and the connection may be becoming harder for either of you to ignore. Perhaps you have recently noticed unexpected thoughts about this person appearing in your mind for no obvious reason. Maybe you suddenly feel drawn toward them, remember something they said, or experience an emotion that seems to arrive out of nowhere. Whether you see these moments as spiritual signs or simply as your heart becoming more aware, they can make you question what you truly feel. What was once easy to dismiss as friendship or familiarity may now feel more meaningful. Meanwhile, this person has been gathering the courage to finally say what they have kept hidden. They may have rehearsed the conversation countless times, imagining every possible response and wondering whether this could change everything. Yet the most surprising realization may be yours. Perhaps your own heart has been quietly waiting too. Maybe what you called comfort was actually emotional attachment beginning to deepen. Maybe the connection mattered more than you allowed yourself to admit. The truth is slowly moving into the open, and this person may have reached a point where staying silent feels more painful than risking honesty. They have tried to bury their feelings, but emotions often reveal themselves through small actions. It can appear in the way they defend you when you are not present, remember details you casually mentioned, think about you during quiet nights, or replay conversations simply because hearing your voice made them feel closer to you. Their feelings have been finding their way through the cracks of the silence. And now they may be preparing to tell you everything. Not because they expect you to immediately become their partner, and not because they want to pressure you into giving them an answer, but because carrying an unspoken truth for too long can become exhausting. More than anything, they want you to know that someone has genuinely cared about you. People around them may have recognized this long before you did. Their friends might have playfully teased them about their obvious feelings, while family members noticed how their expression changed whenever your name appeared on their phone. Even casual observers can sometimes recognize affection in someone's face, before the person receiving it ever does. But there may have been one particular realization that finally changed everything. They suddenly understood that you could leave their life without ever discovering how deeply they cared. That possibility frightened them. It forced them to confront the fact that silence, which once felt safe, could eventually become the very thing that causes them to lose their chance. Now they may be preparing carefully for a conversation they have imagined many times. They wonder where to begin, what words to choose, and how you might respond. They know you have experienced heartbreak and disappointment, including struggles you rarely speak about, and they do not take those experiences lightly. That may be precisely why they want their approach to be different. They do not want to add another painful chapter to your story. They want to show through patience, honesty, and consistency that affection does not have to feel chaotic or unsafe. You may also notice yourself thinking about them more often, seeing reminders of them, dreaming about them, or feeling a sudden warmth when their name appears on your screen. These experiences can feel strangely significant, but allow yourself to observe them without forcing a conclusion. Real connection becomes clearer through mutual communication and consistent behavior, not through signs alone. If this message resonates with you, you can write, "I am open to love," as a reminder that you are willing to remain open while still protecting your boundaries. What matters now is not rushing toward an imagined future, but becoming honest about what your heart actually feels. This person has carried their hope quietly for a long time. They have imagined confessing, pictured your reaction, and wondered whether their voice would shake when the moment finally came. Their feelings were not created overnight. They developed gradually through countless small moments, growing stronger with time. And even now, they are still wrestling with the same question. Should I finally speak? Or could telling the truth destroy the connection I have been protecting? They fear rejection, but perhaps they fear losing you completely even more. But what finally weakened their fear was you. Your kindness, your strength, and the way you continued standing after everything life placed on your shoulders made them see you differently. They began to understand that remaining silent was no longer protecting you or the connection between you. Instead, their silence was creating distance from the person they could not imagine losing. Their feelings had reached a point where hiding them felt heavier than speaking honestly. They are now approaching the edge of that confession, ready to stop hiding and finally let you know what has been living inside their heart. For so long, other people may have recognized their feelings while you remained unaware. That may soon change. You might begin noticing them differently, becoming more aware of their presence, their attention, or the unusual comfort you feel around them. What you once dismissed as ordinary friendship may begin to feel more emotionally significant. Perhaps your mind has not completely understood it yet, but your heart may already be responding to something you have been overlooking. Whether you describe it as destiny, intuition, or simply emotional awareness, the important thing is that clarity is beginning to replace confusion. This person has reached a point where the possibility of losing you without ever speaking the truth has become more frightening than rejection itself. They imagine how you might respond if they finally tell you everything. They picture your expression, your silence, your surprise, and every possible outcome. Yet despite the fear, they are becoming ready. Their feelings were never something they consciously decided to create. They developed naturally through time, through ordinary moments, through conversations, and through seeing who you really are beneath everything you have survived. The reason this person waited was never because they were uncertain about you or because they questioned your value. Their hesitation came from uncertainty about whether your life had enough space for something new. They could see that you had already been through difficult experiences and were trying to rebuild your confidence, peace, and emotional stability. From their perspective, approaching you with a confession at the wrong moment could have felt like adding another responsibility to a life that was already demanding enough. They did not want their feelings to become another problem you had to solve. So instead of rushing toward you, they chose patience. They remained close without demanding anything from you, allowing you to heal at your own pace. In their mind, loving you meant respecting your boundaries and giving you the freedom to become comfortable with yourself again. Their silence was not necessarily a sign of weakness. It was their attempt to protect something they considered meaningful. However, that strategy could only work for so long. As time passed, keeping everything hidden began to create its own kind of emotional pressure. Every reminder of you, every unexpected memory, every dream, and every encounter may have made them increasingly aware of what they were trying to suppress. The more they tried to remain silent, the more difficult that silence became. Eventually, the fear of never telling you the truth became greater than the fear of hearing an answer they might not want. That is why the possibility of an honest conversation becomes important. It may not happen in some dramatic or perfectly planned way. It could begin with a message that feels slightly more personal than usual. It could happen during a phone call when the conversation unexpectedly becomes emotional. It could even happen during an ordinary moment when neither of you intended to discuss feelings, but something creates the opening. They may finally say something like, "Everyone knew how I felt except you." Those words would not necessarily mean that everyone literally knew every detail. Rather, they express how obvious the person's feelings may have appeared to people who watched the relationship from the outside. Once you hear something like that, you may begin remembering moments that previously seemed insignificant. You might remember how concerned they became when you disappeared or stopped responding. You may remember how their behavior changed when another person showed interest in you. Perhaps they checked on you during difficult moments, remembered small details you had forgotten telling them, or seemed unusually attentive whenever something affected you. At the time, you may have interpreted these actions as ordinary kindness or friendship. But with new information, those memories can take on a different meaning. The turning point for this person may have been realizing that you could eventually leave their life without ever knowing how important you had become to them. That possibility can create a very different kind of fear. Rejection is painful, but permanent silence can feel even more painful because it leaves behind unanswered questions and endless what-ifs. Once they understood that, staying silent no longer felt like protection. It began to feel like a risk. They started becoming more conscious of how often their mind returned to you and how naturally they wanted to support you, understand you, and stand beside you. They may talk about you positively when you are not present, because admiration is difficult to hide when someone genuinely matters. They may defend you when others misunderstand your intentions because they have taken the time to understand the person beneath your struggles. They may also notice small changes in your mood, your voice, or your behavior because their attention is naturally drawn toward you. None of these individual behaviors automatically proves romantic love, and that distinction matters. A meaningful relationship should ultimately be understood through direct communication, consistency, respect, and mutual effort rather than assumptions. But within the story being described, these small gestures represent the ways this person may have expressed affection without having the courage to openly name it. Their feelings may have existed quietly for a long time, appearing through actions instead of declarations. They might have spent nights imagining how they would tell you, mentally rewriting their words, predicting different reactions, and searching for a moment that felt completely safe. Yet they eventually realized that there may never be a perfect moment. Waiting forever would not remove uncertainty, it would only prolong it. So now they are reaching a point where courage has to become stronger than hesitation. Their decision is not necessarily about forcing you into a relationship. It is about becoming honest enough to let you make your own choice. By finally expressing what they feel, they can release themselves from the burden of secrecy while giving you the opportunity to understand what has been happening beneath the surface. And that may be the real meaning behind their waiting. They were not simply waiting for the perfect day. They were waiting until they believed you were strong enough to receive their honesty and until they became brave enough to risk changing the relationship. Now, both conditions may be approaching the same moment. The next step is no longer about guessing what they feel. It is about allowing truth, communication, and mutual choice to determine what happens next. Their confession may begin with a simple truth. Everyone knew I loved you, except you. Behind those words is a much deeper explanation. They may tell you that their silence was never caused by a lack of feeling. They stayed quiet because they cared deeply about your healing and did not want their affection to become another source of pressure. They wanted you to approach love from a place of peace rather than exhaustion. They may admit that seeing your happiness affected them deeply, while watching you suffer affected them just as strongly. Their feelings grew patiently, without demanding anything in return. And when they finally speak, they may not ask you to promise anything. They may simply say, "I don't know if you feel the same, but I could not keep this hidden anymore." That honesty may change the way you remember your entire relationship. You could begin looking back at old conversations, gestures, and moments with new understanding. Perhaps feelings you once buried beneath friendship or familiarity will finally become easier to recognize. You do not have to force those emotions or rush into a decision. If something genuine exists, it can unfold through honesty, patience, consistency, and mutual choice. A healthy connection will give you room to understand what you feel, rather than demanding an immediate answer. And if this message resonates with you, consider subscribing to Jungian Horizon for more reflections on love, emotional patterns, self-awareness, and the hidden dynamics that shape our relationships. The most beautiful chapter is not necessarily the one where someone finally confesses. It is the chapter where you become honest with yourself about what you truly want, what you deserve, and what kind of love allows you to remain fully yourself.